Boom.
Boom.
Let's make... Tim, do you want to do the introduction to this podcast?
Your face.
How can I do an introduction to a podcast I have no idea about?
It's called the I Needed This Today podcast, featuring Alpha Mama and Paisley Hart, and it's got a guest today if you want to also introduce that person.
That special guest is me, Tim. You may have heard about me in previous podcasts, but I'm not sure.
You definitely have heard about Tim. Definitely. Look, I just need to christen the beginning of this podcast.
Okay.
Oh, damn it, it was a silent one.
Oh, but deadly.
It's deadly. Look, if this podcast could transmit smells, you would know that I just farted.
It hasn't hit yet.
So today, welcome to the I Needed This Today podcast. I forgot what it was called for a moment, but here we are. We have just finished doing our branding shoot, which you would have already seen like 8 weeks ago because it's the 8th episode, but just now. So if you think back to then, you're like in this quantum field of time right now.
And then this episode will be called I Needed This 8 weeks ago.
And Tim shot the branding for us. We had a really magical gift to us, which we can explain later. And as you would have heard in earlier episodes, we want to bring in characters of the crew and the people that we talk about. And I feel like currently in the hierarchy of people that we talk about, it's been Tim, then Nardine, then probably Atlas. They're the top 3 at the moment. They're on the podium.
Top 3 stars,
so you have a lot of things to combat on here, and you haven't even heard what we've said about you.
Wait, do I need to introduce myself? I'm Paisley's boyfriend. Do we need to make that clear, or has that already been covered?
I think they'll understand that.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, maybe we can go a bit deeper. Like, other than being Paisley's boyfriend, who are you?
Well, tonight I was also a photographer.
Yes.
A set stylist, set designer,
a florist.
Yeah,
a florist. Yeah.
I'm ticking a lot of boxes. Isn't a millennial all about being like a slashy, multiple things?
Hey, slashy. I've not heard that before.
Yeah, slashy.
I needed that today.
Wow.
I'm not sure if slashy is a new term or it's just so passé that you just never got around to picking up on that one.
It's 2 Surrey Hills, and you didn't grow up in Surrey Hills.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What else are you, slashy? My slashy boyfriend?
Well, I mean, I just finished an embodiment counselling course, which I'm pretty proud of.
Yes.
So I'm on my way down this path of holding space for people. I'm really drawn to men's work, so I've tried to channel my energy towards that. I've been doing a lot of workshops and retreats with this group called Naked Man, which is a queer men's group that like to get their kid off.
Yes.
Which has been a hell of a lot of fun because I also like to get my kid off.
Nice.
And what better, like doing men's work and, you know, wearing your birthday suit.
So good. They're the kind of things that I want to be in. I want to be around naked queer men.
Well,
I usually
trans
am,
men,
though.
you usually are. You just were. Well, trans men, welcome there.
Yeah, well, I don't know how trans I am yet. I'm still figuring that out. So that's another podcast episode.
Okay, we'll get there.
So, photographer, videographer,
Definitely.
embodiment counselor, men's work facilitator, holder of space. You also do video editing.
Hey, I've got my own business.
Why
didn't
You
I
should
plug that?
plug it.
Why didn't I
Plug
plug
it.
this already?
All right, the goal is that because this will come out in a while still, maybe there'll be a launch happening around this business that's coming.
Yeah, I mean, you may already have missed the launch party depending on when this comes out. But yeah, I've made a mental health project, which is now an app with one of my close friends, Erin. She's a psychologist. It's called Decompress. The app is called Time to Decompress. And basically we want to use a whole bunch of different modalities like meditation, breath work, body work, journaling, some drawing exercises, a little bit of yoga, all these different principles where we can cherry pick like what resonates and create a little routine and structure for targeted mainly towards creatives, guys that kind of fall through the cracks of traditional therapy and they want some sort of more a kind of support group that works more for them, that doesn't kind of adhere to sitting in a chair with a therapist in a room once a week.
Nice.
Yeah, so we do these different modalities, and we also meet up via Zoom for like group therapy sessions. What we're thinking of calling mind spas at the moment.
Wow.
Like these opportunities to give yourself a chance to kind of unwind, and like you would go to a day spa for your body, you go to a decompressed mind spa for your brain.
I like that. That's catchy. It reminds me of a while back, I had an idea for a business with a friend, and we were going to call it like soul salons.
Oh.
Yeah, we were talking about like, it was going to be in the Gold Coast, and it was going to be like, you go, you go to salon, you do your nails, you do this, you do that, but it's like all the spiritual things. So you can go and get your chakras balanced and your cards read and get some crystals and do the this and do the that. And there's different practitioner rooms, but you just go there and it's just like fucking beautiful as well. And just the ambience and like the whole experience, it's like a salon for your soul.
I needed that today.
I need that every day. I need the soul salon. So what are we feeling today? What's alive? What's alive to talk about? What's the latest?
Well, I know that Tim, you were talking about creative confidence.
Hey.
This
like
was
that's
coming up for me, yes.
I feel like it's a cool thing to talk about because I'm in the thick of mastering the album. We're jamming on ideas for the film clip that you're helping me with, and then also I've been mixing the Frequency EP, so there's a lot of creative projects on the go at the moment, so I think that would be a cool thing to talk about.
Creative confidence.
What does it mean to you?
Yeah.
I mean, when I said it, when we were setting intentions, that was just yesterday actually, that it was coming up. I get caught in this trap, and I'm so super aware of it, that when I want to take on a project, I kind of hit this obstacle of I don't want to continue until I know I can, do it to the vision in my head. And like from experience, if you just keep on working past that and kind of ignoring that obstacle and just starting to create things, not letting that hindrance stop you from creating in the first place, but just experiment. Like often the weird tangents and things that come out of that are so much more interesting. Or you could surprise yourself and it just like comes out like you were imagining, without all this stress and unnecessary
Either way, it doesn't help to stress.
Yeah, totally. It's just like, well, I can't do it today. Like, I'll just have to wait another week, and then I'll need to like, sort that out and be over controlling and overbearing about all the conditions that play into it. So I guess creative confidence for me is just to be a little bit, step blindly into the unknown and just work with whatever comes up. And know you can make something good, or you can make something out of it, and it's never a disaster.
I feel like I have the opposite problem, where like I
think I know where you're
don't
going.
plan anything. I just say, we've spoken about this on your other podcast before, like I'm so used to trusting the process and trusting that the magic will be present that it's almost like a creative overconfidence. I'm just like, I don't care, what do you got? I'll make it art, It's like it's a very like cocky confidence that I can make something happen. And it's not in myself. Like what I trust is not it's myself, but it's like I don't trust that I'm the best at art. It's like I know that my relationship with beauty and my relationship with art and creativity is so strong that I can I can find like the threads in the magic, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because it's not me. Like, I won't be behind the camera. It's like I trust that whoever is behind the lens or whoever is doing this will be able to collaborate with me and make that happen. But the shadow side of that is that I'm always unprepared.
Yeah.
You know, and if I was prepared, like, who the fuck knows what I could be creating, right? Could be like
marrying the two.
Exactly.
Marrying
So
the two.
that's where I'm
embodying
leaning into
the shadow. Yeah, mine's very similar to you. My creative confidence comes in. So if I'm prepared and well oiled in a space, it's more like I'm creatively bored. It's like, I've done this, you know, like I need to find a new element. So my thing is always, what new element or what new space can I put myself in to be extremely nervous and like really feel like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone to then having to step into the space and go, I have to be confident. I have to be confident to nail this. And that's where confidence comes from for me, is putting myself in situations where I have no other choice but to be confident.
Totally. I mean, that's the thing that not a lot of people understand about confidence. You know, obviously, like, I'm a coach and I teach creatives this stuff, but most people think that confidence is something that people have. Like, it's like, oh, you're a confident person, like, you're naturally confident. It's like, well, maybe like some kids, you know, have like this kind of flair to them and have this. Some kids do, but actually, in my experience, like, confidence is a muscle. You have to practice it, and you have to. It's like you literally just have to decide, all right, fuck it, like, whatever happens, happens, but I'm gonna make it go right, and I'm gonna do the best I can. And it's like that energy and that decision that you put forth is really what makes it or breaks it. I think.
Yeah, I reckon like I think a missing piece that people maybe don't realize is confidence isn't an exclusive emotion. You can be confidently shy, for instance. Like, you can be like, it's just owning whatever's coming up. And that's what is confident to me, is like, oh, they're not hiding from that shyness. They're shining in shyness or in nervousness or in timidness or failure or whatever it is. They're not
confident and scared shitless. As a combo.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's like, confidence is just shining in whatever's present.
Yeah, I like, for me, when I think of confidence, it's like, it's the trust that you have in your own ability, and it's your willingness to show how great you are.
Yeah, I don't know how that translates in music, but for me as a filmmaker, video photographer, there's so much of that that relies on the technical, so you can be very limiting in your way you're seeing a project, because you know the science of, you know, you've got your f-stops, you've got your shutter speed, you've got all these like different combinations of things that have to happen to get the image on the sensor. And like, we were talking about a music video and my producer had kept on coming up, we were talking about this idea of like setting a bed on fire. I don't know if I can spoil that.
Of course, yeah, go for it.
We don't know if it's going to happen yet. But as soon as we were talking about that, I was like, fuck, okay, so we need like a fire warden, we'll need like fire extinguishers, where are we going to do this? Like, all these like...
Not us.
All these
us.
like blocks start coming up. I'm like, all right, so we're going to get like approval from like someone to do that?
It's so beautiful though. See, I love that, because that's something that I would never ever think of. Like, literally the first time I thought of that is just now when you said that. Like,
see, this is how the different creative brains operate.
I have a great example of that. When we shot Neri Viking's Viking ship music video, so we're up in like hinterlands of Byron, and we had a scene where Viking kicked someone off a waterfall. We're all for the idea, everything, and the moment that he kicked him off, we all just looked at each other, just knowing, did anybody check what's happening underneath there? And no one is down there, so we all wait in so much suspense. Is he gonna come back up?
That is nightmarish.
You know, we're doing it like Vikings.
But this is the thing, like, I think maybe like you and I have a similar artistic archetype, maybe, where it's like we run on like excitement and like fear, adrenaline, I guess. It's like, wow, are we gonna climb the fence? Are we gonna go with the crocodiles? It's like, that's kind of what gives us our juice. And I don't think it's the same for everyone.
No.
Because maybe like, I don't know, maybe it's, who knows, the way we were raised or whatever. It's something in our system where we love the drama of it, the excitement
We're
of
dramatic. We are adrenaline junkies. We're whatever,
Totally. And I think we're chilling out heaps as we get older and as we mellow. Like, it's even reflected in our relationships, like you're in a really cool, loving, stable relationship. I'm not half as dramatic as I used to be. So we're definitely conditioning our nervous systems to not be always wired for, disaster and like panic. So we're doing good.
Yeah, and it's also calling in people like Tim that is down to be the thinking of the water and the this and the pieces that we can be the like, all right, no, that one thing, like, 3 of those 10 things we're not letting you do, but we're going to do this. So it's like, okay, you get to let go of those things. So it's that marriage of different archetypes. I think in the last episode we're talking a bit about wealth dynamics, or one of the episodes, and I'm sure in like Tim's wealth dynamic and his like archetypal
will be different to what we are.
You'd
probably be like on the left side, so maybe like mechanic, or what's the one before mechanic? I don't know, can't remember. But yeah, like you would have the more technical skills, like as opposed to we're more like people-y. Well, not people-y, like I'm a creator, so I just have ideas. That's all my fucking job is. Just idea after idea after idea. And
I'm a star and I have to just shine.
Yeah, you just gotta shine and you pull in the people to make it happen, I'm a bit more introverted than you are, for sure. But I'm also curious about your birth chart. What's your astrology? What's your sun sign?
He doesn't remember. Oh, his sun, you do.
Sun is Pisces.
Okay, Pisces sun. Do you know what your moon sign is?
I should have brought my phone in here so I could look at it.
Okay, because it'd be interesting to see what your whole chart is. Because I mean, if you like practicals and things like that, it would probably be a lot of earth elements, but also air, looking at things and figuring out the systems and stuff like that. A lot of air probably. But yeah, Pisces is interesting that it's your sun sign. Yeah, I'd be curious to look at your chart and understand it.
In future episodes, stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. We just have to do one episode that just unpacks birth charts. And we'll get like an expert on to do all of our charts. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
It'd be super fun. So, creative confidence. Back to that.
Yes.
Because that's the thing.
It's the theme right now.
Yeah, like a question that, I think is always helpful is like, if you were already creatively confident, what would you be doing that you feel you can't do now?
I'd be doing like live performances of moving through trauma. Like
heavy.
Yeah, containers of personal development theatre performances.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'd probably like straight up go get an agent like right now.
Nice.
If I don't have the track record, I know if I chose to move into confidence, I could do it anyways.
Nice.
I don't know if I want to be blindly confident, because I feel like then I slip into delusion. Paisley and I have been talking about these really intense personalities, like UFC fighter
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, someone that's just like so focused that the only reality that's going to play out is success. And if I was so creatively confident that I was like, I'm going to make a feature film and like it's going to be the best movie ever made, it's probably going to be shit. It's probably not going to be a good movie, but I am just like so determined that I like pull people into my...
But it's interesting.
But did it get done?
But it would get done, but...
Well, but hold on a second, because I don't want to coach you, but it's probably going to happen. But it's like, you went past the thing that you would do. Like, if you rewind back, it's like you said feature film. Is that what you want to create?
Yeah.
I did a few years back.
And then what happened?
I'm not sure. I feel like I lost a little bit of steam behind that filmmaking part of my life, and now I'm moving more into this like holding space for people, counseling, you know, group therapy. This is more rewarding, more interesting. Like I definitely want to still be creative and make things, but I feel like something like making a feature film can be quite what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit indulgent for some people. I think
for you?
Well, I don't have like a good enough story that I want to tell yet, which is also another reason.
Yeah.
If I had that creative confidence, I would just go guns blazing and make something that maybe is a bit half cooked, but I would just be so deluded that it had to be done now. You would do. You would do it. And who knows, maybe it would be great, maybe it would be okay.
But that's the thing, like I feel like it's like our obsession with is it good enough is so often what stops us from just doing the thing. Because for me, like, as much as I do care about the outcome, I do, because I love beauty and I love art, and like the outcome, the result is important to me, to make sure that the final product is beautiful, it sounds great, and also like moves people. Like that's such a thing that I care about. If I make this fucking thing and then everyone listens to it and they're like, this is shit, like I don't like it at all, or not even I don't like it, but I don't feel anything about it, that would be heartbreaking.
Yes.
So I do care, but also the joy that I get from it is in the creation process. It's like, for example, we had this thing, right? So we had this, like, Atlas initiated this, it was for his birthday a couple of years ago. We had this Beau Frank, which stands for Beautiful Frankenstein, this, like, creative weekend where we went and we made all these songs and all this music, and then we made all these film clips for the songs and, like, just smashed it out in 2 days. And it was the most fucking hectic, fun thing we've, like, but it was so fun, like we were just fucking elated and high that whole weekend. Now, is the art good? Debatable.
It's a roller coaster of goodness.
It's like, a roller coaster of good.
Some things are like, whoa, and other things are like, all right then.
But it was the journey, not the destination.
Exactly, totally. Yeah. And that's the thing, but like we went in deluded to a sense, because we were like, we're going to make this fucking cool thing. It's going to
go across the world. It's going to go viral.
It's going to go viral. And we just like, that energy hyped us, and we were so hyped about it. And like, just, it was so, and we had like such a shamanic journey and like all these unpacks about this. And it was like fucking huge.
Sounds like a hell of a ride.
It was a hell of a ride. And now like, I don't care if it ever gets released or not. But I would care if we never had that experience. And I think that is the thing that's the thing that kind of breaks my heart the most, when I see people who have these ideas and these passions and gifts and talents and whatever, but they don't allow themselves to have the experience of the joy of the creation process, because they're thinking that the outcome won't be the way they
such a big
it.
wound of mine. You know, I journeyed that with Viking, you know, like worked on an album with him for like 4 to 5 years, and now it's been another 2 or 3 years. It's done. It's done.
It's
but
never going to see the light of day, though.
He keeps, you know, and this is me talking on behalf of, I haven't spoke to him in 2 years, but like, from what I track, because I am invested still, you know, like I still check his page, I still want to hear it, and I still see him tell his fans every year, it's coming soon, it's going to be out this year,
my God.
It's going to be out this year, and then at the end of the year, it's coming out early next year, and I'm like, why, you know, like, release it, please. It's like, he's such a masterful artist. The world needs to hear it. Like, if like, what upsets me and my perception of him is like, I need to make the best debut, you know, like it's got to be flawless.
So many artists have
that big, like, I need the big debut. It's like,
it's my first
get it out, you know, like, I think anyone that's read or listened to Big Magic and Elizabeth Gilbert, like, yeah, just her framing of like, this is the best I can do right now, and I need to get this out to get better for the next one. This is the best I can do right now. And when people say this is shit, she goes, I know, I know, but I had to do it to be able to get better.
100%.
I had to get it out. I know that one character in my book was pretty average, or I know the grammar in that wasn't the best, but I couldn't afford the perfect editor at that time. But I got the book out.
Yeah.
It got me on tour. It got me a few spots. I got more fans, and I did it again, and I did it again. And then eventually, one of her books is now like a massive Hollywood film, Eat, Pray, Love, and all this other shit. Like that, she's inspiring people around the world, and just her story of like, just do it, you know?
There is a certain humility that, when coupled with confidence, creates a really beautiful dance. Yeah, because it's like, the humility is like, I know that this is not like, because your tastes and your sense of what is good is so high, and your humility tells you that, it's not the best thing that I could ever create. I know that, but I'm still going to choose to put it out because it's good enough for right now, for where I'm at, because this is authentically where I'm at. Because in 3 months or a year, I'm going to be better, but I'm still not going to be as good as I know I could be, because I never will be.
True.
And that's so hard, though, because I look back on shit that I released like 12 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm like, cringe.
Yeah.
You know, I want to like delete it from the internet forever.
But it's good that you cringe, right? That's what you want to do. Imagine if you went back and you were just like,
damn, I'm
I'm
fine.
how fucking good is that? Like, if you were just stuck in that, like, I did it fantastic the first time, like, that would be a bit tragic.
Yeah.
Like I listened to like someone like Pharrell, you know, and like today I was listening to a podcast with him, and he's like, I hate that we had to release Beautiful. He's like, I sing flat on that, but Snoop Dogg said, trust me. And still to this day, when I hear that song, I'm like, why? Why did it have to be a hit as well? Like, couldn't it just been like a B-side track that flopped? Because now it still pumps to this day, you know?
And then you feel like, I don't respect anyone that likes this song because it's my worst song.
It's my worst song, you know?
That's hilarious. But that's the thing, like, even Pharrell, you know, who's like one of the biggest artists and producers of our time and songwriters, feels that way about his number one hits, you know? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And like, maybe that's delusional, but like, it's like toxic delusion where you can't even recognize how brilliant you are. Like, that's a different type of delusion, you know, where you constantly judge your art or your creation as not good or not right or not this or not that. Like, that's a different type of delusion, you know?
That's a big thing I come to realize around creatives and everyone, like people that are famous. And I listen to interviews like religiously every day, and certain, like for instance, like Pharrell, like super humble guy. I hear other people, they're like, I've never liked my shit. I don't understand why people like me. Like, I release shit, I'm like, this is horrible, and I'm always trying to just finally get good. Just somehow God is behind me and says this is good to other people, but you know, they're like 20 years in the game, and like they're like, no, this is bad, you know, like I don't understand, but here I am.
That's crazy.
Like Tyler the Creator, like only his recent album was the only album he's ever liked of his.
Wow.
Like, I also agree, but
is he going to say that?
I love Tyler.
Is he going to say that every new album that he releases? No, this one is the only one that I approve of. All the other stuff.
No, but I remember listening to, because I don't listen to his music, but I listen to his interviews because I love the character, I love the human Tyler.
You don't like his music?
No, not at all.
Oh.
No, I think it's so...
I was playing some in the car the other night.
I like that album.
I really
when you play from that album. I like certain bits and pieces, but when I put him on, I'm like, oh, you know how he does those off chords, which is a part of his singing. It just is jarring for me, and he's not the best lyrically.
I disagree, but anyway, that's fine.
That's my opinion. Is, but yeah, like, I love him, and I've heard him in his interviews going, that, like, what I just did was whack, but y'all are into it. But then he's like, okay, this album is actually good. I finally did something that was good.
Something about Americans, I gotta say, like, Americans have this confidence about them it's so refreshing. Like, sometimes it's also like, are you fucking kidding me? You shouldn't be that confident. But from when, you know, like my American friends, or when I go over there, or whatever, like they just own their shit. They just like, yeah, this is fucking great. This is awesome. Yeah. And like, it's like very matter of fact, you know, and it's almost like there's something wrong with you if you don't think you're the shit, and you are. Like, it's like, it's an interesting one, because in Australia, we're just so
Tall
conditioned to be humble, like just don't be too much, just be all right, you know, don't get too big for your boots, like all of that stuff. But in America, it's like, no, like, be awesome, be great, you know, fucking like, let's go. And it's interesting. Even like on dating apps, you know, sometimes like I'll match with someone, like I matched with this guy maybe a couple months ago, American guy, and like I didn't even know he was American, but he was so confident, and I was just like, I bet you this guy's American. And then he's like, I'm American, of course I'm confident. I'm like, oh duh,
There we
you
go.
know? There we go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even more if you're from New York, it's like, oh shit, okay. That's why sometimes I hate this country. No, it's true. Like, I love Australia for so many reasons, but in terms of the arts community and the artistic industry, like, as me, my whole brand for like the last 13 years has been Alpha Mama, right? Firstly, who the fuck calls himself Alpha Mama in this country, you know? When you think Alpha Mama, you think like fucking a Nicki Minaj type rapper or something. Like, you think someone who's like really like, you know, and if you see my shows, like, I'm very confident and I'm very good. I mean, I can say that because I know that it's true. But in this country, it's uncomfortable to say that and to admit that. And also, people don't like for you to know that you're that good. They like to tell you or discover you, but you're supposed to say, oh, no, I'm not that good, thank you. Oh, no. You know, you're supposed to deflect and not receive the compliment. Whereas it's like, why the fuck should I? I've worked my fucking ass off for my craft. I am really, really fucking good. And I know that. But this industry doesn't like that.
Yeah.
So there's my cocky moment. Just a cocky
Own
bitch.
Own it.
You deserve it.
You needed that today.
I needed it. Maybe someone listening is like,
Yeah,
oh,
like,
fuck, I
fuck,
needed this
maybe
today.
I need to be more confident and own it. Or actually, on the other side, like, accept other people's confidence.
Yeah, that too, totally. It's like, if someone is really confident, if they have, you know, the technique and the mastery to back it up, then I think there's no problem, because then it's like genuine confidence. If they don't have any ability to back up their confidence, then I don't think that's real confidence.
Yeah, no, I that's what I really... There's certain people that delusionally confidence. Like, sorry, you don't match up with how confident you are.
Yeah, it's like, that's not greatness.
I mean, there's a clear difference between confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
And delusion.
Yeah, I was telling, like, because I idolize people like Kanye, you know, and Conor McGregor, when they have this like confidence that's backed up with action and stats and whatnot and talent. But then when I met ChillinIt, and he is someone like that, and I remember the one time, it was the second time I met him, he shot some of his album booklet stuff at our house at God Queen, his first album, and I just, you know, he come in and he's like, you know, we're shooting the leaflet stuff for the best album that's ever going to come out in Australia. We're going to do stats like you've never seen before. He's like putting that energy into the photography, into the people, into this, and I'm like, ooh, like, this is intense. He's very fucking confident, you know, like, and he's just matter of fact about everything. You know, I am the best rapper in Australia. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, fuck. You know, I like these people when I'm confronted with it. But then when he left, he was like, "Thank you so much for letting me use everything. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. I hope you have a good day. Let me know if you need anything." And then he drops the album and he tops all of the ARIA charts.
Goes bananas.
He sells out every show across his tour. He hits numbers that have never been hit before. Like, I'm like, well, you were right.
You were right.
You were right, and everything you said was warranted.
Totally, yeah, and it's really cool, you know. I mean, you know, like on a on a manifestational level, if you're saying that and you genuinely believe it, your words and your energy are all aligned. It's like, of course, that's what you're going to manifest. It's only when your words are saying one thing, but you don't genuinely believe it emotionally and, you know, like it's not aligned, that it's like, well, it's bullshit. It's empty words, right?
You know, it's like the Joe Dispenza. You know, like to manifest, you have to see it and feel it as if it's present.
Yeah.
Like as on a quantum field, that it's not over there, it's right now,
here, right
and
now.
you hold both of them at the same time. And if one isn't there, like, it doesn't manifest in your life.
Yeah, it bees like that. And that's why I still think to this day my most successful song is 3 times 11, because that song is like fucking honest.
You have the words in there.
I had the words in there. That was it. It was like, you know, said it would shake some real, the stats, like said it would make some real, I can't remember fucking what the lyrics are, but anyway, talked about stats. And that's like, to this day, the most streamed song of mine. It's like, is that coincidental or, you know? There you go. So yeah. We went on one. I think it was a good little rant.
Good little rant.
I'm excited.
I thought I was going to have to come on here and rebuke all sorts of crazy myths and stories you've been telling about me, but I'm very glad that we went down this confidence rabbit warren.
I liked it. I really enjoyed this podcast episode. It's cool to have 3 people as well, because it's like, you know,
different bouncings.
Yeah.
Well, you went gently with me, so maybe I'll come back for another one sometime.
Yeah. You should actually hear the episodes about you. Then you have
to come back and review.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've got a little bit of research ahead of me.
Yeah. I've told you a small amount of things.
Yeah. All right, so linking, because our theme for podcast is always relationships. We're going to talk about relationships.
Okay, we'll have a little relationship moment.
Well, I was just going to link the two, because when I saw, because you guys just recently did this photo shoot with Ryan Henwood White. It was beautiful shots, like so beautiful. And years ago when I was dating Zulu, we did, well, it was actually Zulu's photo shoot, but I jumped in for some shots.
That
and
you
they
bombed.
were like, yeah, that I photobombed. But the shots were so fucking beautiful. Like, they were so beautiful. And I still love those photos to this day. And so what I'm thinking about is, like, creative collaborations with people, like, that you love. And then when you separate, like, what do you do with the art?
I was going to make a joke just before about when we're, like, plugging everything, Tim. I was like... And now, if you break up with me, you know, you just get this free promotion at the start here. You know, because it comes out in 8 weeks or whatever later, and it's like, awkward, we're not together anymore. Oh, what happened?
We just had an interesting moment.
It just turned dark. I think the power blew out just then. I don't know how.
The spirits were like...
It all got spooky all of a sudden.
Just in here. Maybe the board over there tripped. It's scary. But yeah, that's the thing for me. Like, recently, not that long ago, I posted a picture of Liv and I, and we're not together anymore, but it's just a beautiful piece of art. And a picture with another person that I don't even talk to anymore. I don't like them. You know, like if I saw them on the street, I wouldn't say hello to them. But aesthetically, it's beautiful, you know, like that photo. So I'm like, aesthetics first, relationships second.
But that's the thing, though, because I remember when I was processing the breakup, I posted a series of those photos with like this long-ass caption, and
that's
he
a bit
was
different.
very upset
That's
about
a bit
that.
different.
I did archive them, but like they're so beautiful. To be honest,
I feel like
with
if
you,
you use them in a different way of, you know, you don't have to talk about him personally and unpack the previous relationship without consent from him. But if you just use it in like, how beautiful is love, you know? Or like...
They're gorgeous photos. They're gorgeous photos. I mean, I'm not the type of person that when I end a relationship, I have to like clear out all my social media and get rid of any skerrick of that person ever existing. I'm totally not that person. It's just like, it was a beautiful time together and it'll always like have its place. But yeah,
One of my favourite photos on your feed is that one with you and Pete with your socks crossed one another. Like, I love that photo.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful photo.
Wow, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm just looking at my archived
It'd
Instagram
take you like weeks
post.
to get to.
No, but like I'm just thinking like actually like it's so my archive posts are like so dope. Like if this was my Insta feed, I'd be happy. But I've got this fucking aesthetic now. I'm not gonna unarchive 2,000 posts, but I've got some lit photos here for real.
Rizzle.
We're going deep into the archives of Alpha Mama.
And I'm so self-obsessed. Like actually, it makes me so happy to just look at pictures of myself and read shit that I've written. Like it's
that is
crazy.
Healthy mental health.
Yeah,
that is strong mental health, and I'm
so
here for
too.
it.
I think so too. Like, it's I have a song about that actually on the album. It's the lights just came back on.
I think Georgia tripped the electricity and she just went and turned it back on. Shout out to Georgia Frew for giving us light.
Thanks, G Frew.
She may make it onto the podcast one day.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about Georgia actually.
Yeah, I think we're in just once or twice.
True. Anyway, look, I'm gonna fucking years deep into my archive, but one thing that I wanted to bring it back to, because you were talking about the technical abilities that you need, right? As if you're a photographer or a musician or whatever it is, and yeah, I think that's a factor as well. It's like sometimes what you hear or what you see in your creative mind's eye or ear, you don't have the skills yet to execute it, so you fall short. And so I think like definitely, having the skill set, of course, you're going to feel more confident because you know that you can deliver what it is that you're seeing and hearing. But I think for me, like having those barriers, like for example, like let's say you know how to use the fanciest camera in the world and you know the f-stops and the ISOs and all the buttons and all the lighting and shit, that shit. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to create good art.
No, I mean, the thing with filmmaking is it so often relies on a team of people working cohesively and perfectly like a giant machine. Because you can know all the things, but like to do the camera, the lighting, the sound, costume design, art direction, like talking to actors, you can't do all those things as one person. Otherwise you're shooting like one shot a day. That's the other thing about filmmaking. It takes so long. That's why I kind of started falling out of love with filmmaking. It's just
exhausting.
So many people need to click, and you just need so much time to get it all in the can.
Definitely. And I know, like, again, that is a weak spot for me, like putting together teams and coordination and blah, blah, blah. It's a weak spot. Because for me, I run off, like, is the idea strong? If the idea is strong, I just fucking make it happen. You know, like by myself. I do my own makeup, my own styling.
Yeah.
I frame my own fucking shots. I direct myself. I like do all the shit. It's like, it's because I don't like waiting for other people. And I also, not only that, I also like, I'm the worst at communication between teams, and like I'm slow and I don't reply to emails fast enough, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just do it with myself or would get a friend to help me. And I know that like, like if I've got the choice to choose between like a slick team and all the like technicalities or a really strong idea, I'm always going to go the really strong idea because I've worked with people before who like...
There's a quadrant clear just here.
Definitely, I definitely should clear around this. But I have worked with like, big professional teams and stuff, and it just turned out flat and boring, and there was no life in it. There was no juice. The concept was boring, and I was just like, all right, did that, X amount of dollars later, and okay, cool.
Yeah, there's something to be said of just like guerrilla going out there and making it happen.
Well, that was today is an example of that. Like we wanted to do the branding shoot. It was possibly meant to be yesterday. It didn't work out due to things, and then today you were gifted $700 worth of flowers. Messaged into the group, I've got flowers, can we make this work? Tim's like, all right, I can make it after this, and Tim hadn't worked with artificial light before. He's a natural light photographer, and the photos turned out epic.
So beautiful. Just did it.
It was just a strong idea.
We just went in like...
It was just like flowers. That was it. That was it.
Yeah, I love setting parameters or like, a container for you to pour your magic into or your inspiration into. But it's like, because what I was initially like kind of alluding to was like, some people have terrible technique but are the most amazing performers or artists, you know, and it's like because of their limitations almost it makes them better in some sense.
Yes.
You know, because it's like I don't have all of these options or these colors on my palette. I've only got these two, but how I use them is what makes it special.
Yes.
Sometimes I think like that's really cool, you know, like I hear singers that don't have a range. They only have like one octave because they've been smoking cigarettes for their whole life, and they're like when they sing that one note, the tone and the, you know, and the pain that comes through is like so strong. You're like, holy shit. So it's like a different kind of brilliance, I guess, different kind of genius.
It sort of reminds me of Alice Knight's song Masks.
I love that song. Yeah, it's one note on the
one
guitar
note the whole
way.
time. Who
It's
is
a
not
drone.
wearing a mask today?
Yeah.
It just like, and it's just that same droning one note the whole way through. But it just is like, when, especially when you see it live, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
stop it with that one note. It's fucking me up, man.
It's true. It's well because it's like it's almost like it puts you in a trance, you know, and then you're in that trance, and you're like let your analytical defenses down, and then all the words just like pierce you right to the core. It's some
And there's
fucked
no
up medicine.
production and glitz and glamour to hide behind, you know? It's not something to distract you. It's just like, okay, here we are, me and you. Let's feel the feels.
Yeah, but you know that is not easy to do. Like to be able to produce something so beautiful and moving and aesthetic with two ingredients, like that's high level mastery. You know, and I don't think that just anybody can do that.
It's
as
the
well.
margarita pizza test. Paisley and I were talking about pizza last night, which
Yeah.
he can't eat at the moment because of his
Keto.
keto diet. But we're gonna do a pizza tour of Sydney. But my deal with pizza places, if I really want to know what they can do, I just order the margarita because you
Nice.
can't hide
Yeah, that's true.
on a margarita. Like there's
Don't
no
put broccoli and
there's no
avocado on it.
toppings that are gonna, you know, steal your attention away. It's just gotta be great.
Is the
crust,
dough? Yeah, is the
sauce,
fucking
cheese, maybe a few little basil leaves here and there. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And if that hits, then it's good pizza.
I agree. That's why, because, all right, bring it back to music, because obviously I'm obsessed with music. So it's like with jamming, right? That's why I'm so fucking passionate about live music and jamming. So we've been running this frequency fortnightly, Nadine and I. And we get a lot of singers, right? We get a lot of singers coming who have been in the recording studio and they cut their teeth in the recording studio. So if you listen to their produced music, sounds fucking sick. Like, wow, you know, you can sing all these harmonies and your songwriting's great, blah, blah. And then they get up on stage and it's like, oh, okay. It reveals where you're really at in terms of your technique and your ability. And that's, for me, that is like the place that I learned, was like on stage. So it's like in the studio, you might think, oh, she's just an average singer. But if you see me on stage, it's like, oh, okay. We get it, you know? And I feel like that is what's happening now more and more, because in the studio, you've got your tricks and you've got your reverb, you've got your auto-tune, you've got your this, you've got your that. And it's like, yeah, you can produce this. It's still beautiful artwork and you still make people feel.
Yes.
But if you only had like two instruments, what's your margarita pizza taste like, basically?
Yeah.
If we get you on
Yes.
stage with just an instrument, with like no harmonies, no backing vocals, no whatever, like it's just you and a fucking instrument, what does your margarita pizza taste like?
Boom.
I'm
Yeah,
getting hungry.
because that's what they used to do back in the day. Record labels, they'd be like, you go to the boardroom and you go and perform with nothing.
Yeah.
That's
People,
how
it
they
still
used to do
happens
it,
to
yeah.
this day, sometimes, but rarely. I hear a lot of rappers talk about when they work with Dr. Dre. And they're rappers, and they come in and they're like, yeah, I got this hot verse that's going to impress Dr. Dre. And he's like, what's the hook? And you're like, fuck. fuck.
What's the hook? What's the hook?
And then Dre's like, come back when you have a hook. Like, I don't care about how good you can rap. I'm trying to write songs right now. You know, like what's the piece that brings it together? What's the base of the pizza? I don't care about all your pepperonis and
That's it.
rockets.
Just tell me about the dough, the crust, the cheese, the tomato sauce. That's it. Yeah, it's so important. Yeah, I think, that's just really revealing to me, like, what I'm passionate about. Because you can't hide behind production forever. Yeah, eventually, you know, like, at some point, you're going to have to show who you really are.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you can use this analogy for everything, for anything.
Yeah.
Like relationships, like coming back to relationships. It's like, what is your margarita pizza? Like,
that's a good question.
In the beginning of the relationship, you might like be hiding behind all your relationship jargon because you know about attachment theory and you know about this and you know about, you know, nonviolent communication and you got this and you got that and blah, blah, blah. But eventually at some point, all that shit comes crashing down because you start being fucking real. And does the relationship stand when it's just a margarita pizza and you left the toilet seat up again and fucking this happened and that happened and you too upset to use your non-violent communication techniques and you curse someone out. It's like
yeah, I like that. What is your own margarita pizza, you know?
It's like,
I don't know.
Without all your training and your fancy jargon, are you a good person?
Oh yeah.
It's like,
100%.
Are you, you know, is your character there? And just like that, we brought it home. Just like that.
I hope someone needed this today.
Yeah. I hope someone goes and orders a margarita pizza.
And
Order
tells
one
us
for me.
about it.
Yeah.
Tells us this is the place that has good margarita pizza.
Where's the best one though?
I don't know in Sydney. That's why I need to do a little bit of investigation. I feel like I came back from Berlin and pandemic hit and it was just no pizza places. I mean, I have a couple, but I'm still hunting.
Nothing you're willing to shout out just yet.
Back in the day, we used to eat pizza at, was it Tony Roma's on Kellett Street? Kellett Street? Anyone know that one? Anyway.
Never heard of.
That was decent. Yeah, but since then, have not. Gigi's is like good vegan pizza.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Gigi's is a vibe.
Alright, we need to stop talking about pizza again.
Alright, cool. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you needed this today, you are very, very welcome.
Goodbye. I don't have anything special to say. My margarita pizza's not hitting right now.
Alright, we'll see you in the next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.